Hello and welcome to the FA Women's National League show, the weekly show where we look at everything that has happened in the past week in the third and fourth tiers of women's football here in England and look ahead to the next 7 days of action, which this week, as the title of this episode suggests, is all about the Cup that's coming up this Sunday. But before we get into the determining round of the FA Women's National League Cup, we've got the results from Sunday and one result from Thursday to take you through. First of all, we've had big wins again. We've had top of the table clashes as well. So let's get straight down to it with the results in the Northern Premier Division. We'll start there. Brighouse Town 4, Middlesbrough 1. Burnley 4, Huddersfield Town 0. AFC Fylde maintained their undefeated start to the season, beating Hull City by 3-0. Loughborough Lightning 1, Stoke City 5. West Bromwich Albion 2, Sheffield FC 1. And Wolverhampton Wanderers also maintaining their unbeaten start to the season, beating Nottingham Forest by 1-0. Let's look then in more detail at those fixtures. We'll start first with that one at the top, Brighouse Town against Middlesbrough. Brighouse Town with goals, 3 goals, in fact a hat-trick for substitute Amy Woodruff, who came on at the start of the second half. Goals in the 49th minute, 75th minute and first minute of added time at the end of that second half. The fourth goal for Brighouse coming from Leah Embley in the 6th minute of added time at the end of that first half. Goal for Middlesbrough scored by Lauren Robson. Imogen Longcake getting a red card in that game, making it an awful lot more difficult for Middlesbrough. Moving into the 4-0 victory for Burnley over Huddersfield Town. Goals for Burnley from Elizabeth Hamer, Millie Grace Ravening, Courtney Willis and Nicola Worthington. So Nicola Worthington then getting her second of the season, as is Courtney Willis there as well. Burnley snapping a 3-game losing streak with that victory over Huddersfield Town. Moving then into Fylde against Hull City. Bit of a confusing one here. Fylde winning the game by 3-0, with the FA Women's National League website having Hull winning by 3-0 and the table reflecting that. So my table is slightly different to the FA Women's National League one at the moment, but it has all been checked out. It is Fylde that won by 3-0. Goals from Emily Hollingshead, Faye McCoy and Sasha Rowe. Faye McCoy with her 4th of the season. And as I said, Fylde there remaining undefeated and are currently top of the table, which we'll come to shortly. Loughborough Lightning 1, Stoke City 5 then. Goals for Stoke City will start there as they scored first. Rosin Kivell in the 7th minute, Jessica Smith in the 30th, Rebecca Knight in the 34th, Beth Roberts in the 70th, and then also an own goal for Stoke from Loughborough somewhere in that as well. So Stoke getting their first win of the campaign after losses to Fylde, Derby and Sheffield. The Loughborough Lightning getting a goal in the 68th minute from Lauren Taft in that one, her first goal of the season. West Bromwich Albion 2, Sheffield FC 1. West Bromwich Albion getting a win there, their first winner of the season as well. A lot of teams getting off the mark this weekend. Goals for Leanne Robinson and substitute Leah Dugmore for West Bromwich Albion. Yasmin Mason getting another one for Sheffield FC after scoring the only goal they had in that 3-1 defeat to Forest a couple of weeks ago. And then finally, in the Northern Premier Division, that big game that we were talking about last week, I guested on the Wolves Women podcast as well in the past week to talk about this game. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Goal for Anna Morfitt in the 60th minute. High looping ball that just dipped under the crossbar, and Emily Batty, the Forest goalkeeper, couldn't do anything to stop it. And Wolves took all 3 points. And the, as I said, still undefeated in the Northern Division. So Anna Morfitt, her second goal of the season, scoring on the opening day against Middlesbrough. What that has meant for the table then, as I said slightly differently to what the league has it down as at the moment because of that discrepancy with the Fylde result, is FC Fylde are top of the table with 13 points from their 5 games, top by 4 goals ahead of Wolverhampton Wanderers, who also have 13 points. Nottingham Forest now just 4 a game behind, and they could get leapfrogged by Derby County when that game in hand does happen. Derby County in 4th place on 9 points, Huddersfield Town on 8, Brighouse Town 7, Burnley 6, Loughborough Lightning with 4 points. Stoke City, Middlesbrough, West Bromwich Albion and Sheffield FC all have 3 points. Again, with a number of those teams getting their first win of the campaign last weekend. And then Hull City still at the bottom of the table with just that one draw to their name at the start of this season, that coming on the opening day against the Loughborough Lightning. Moving then into the Southern Premier Division, we'll go through again the results there. It's Cardiff City 4, London Bees 1, Chichester and Chelsea 0, Ipswich Town 4, Crawley Wasps 1, MK Dons 0, Gillingham 0, Bridgewater United 0, Hounslow 0, Southampton 9, another 9-0 victory for Southampton. Their second 9-0 victory in as many games. Portsmouth 6, Keynsham Town 1 and Plymouth Argyle 0, Oxford United 5. So looking then at the Cardiff City London Bees game to start with. Goals for Cardiff City. They took the lead on the 28th minute. Olivia Thompson getting the goal for Cardiff City. She's had 2 goals in the 2-0 win against Keynsham on August the 26th. So she's got her 3rd goal of the season now. And then goals for Katie Jones in the 35th minute. Ellie Sargent in the 45th minute, which is also the minute that Florence Gamby got the only goal of the game for the London Bees. Ellie Sargent then getting her 2nd of the game in the 58th minute. Ipswich Town maintain their perfect start to the season. They've now played 5 and won 5. They had a convincing 4-0 victory against Chichester and Chelsea. Goals for Maddie Biggs, Natasha Thomas, Zoe Barrett and Lucy O'Brien. Natasha Thomas there with her 4th of the season, and Maddie Briggs with her 3rd of the season in that win. And that, as I said, gives them a 100% record so far in this season. We'll go to Crawley Wasps against MK Dons. Goal for Crawley Wasps coming very early on in that game. Nicola Gibson in the 4th minute, scoring what would prove to be the only goal of the game. Gillingham and Bridgewater United have played out a 0-0 draw. And we'll go straight then to the big one, Hounslow against Southampton FC. Another 9-0 victory for Southampton, who are storming away at the top of the table alongside Ipswich so far this season. Goals then for Southampton, a hat-trick for Kiera Watling, 36th, 60th and 80th minute. That's her 3rd, 4th and 5th goals of the season. Lita Rutherford in the 37th minute, getting her 3rd of the season. Ella Pusey in the 30th and 40th minute. Those were her 7th and 8th goals of the season. Sophie Ferrer in the 69th minute, also getting her 2nd of the season after scoring against Gillingham last week. Georgie Freeland getting her 3rd of the season in the 70th minute, and Shelley Proven in the 95th minute, getting her 1st of the season. So Southampton still only conceded 1 goal in this campaign. That was on the opening day to MK Dons, but back-to-back 9-0 victories for Southampton is putting them in a very strong position early on in this campaign. Portsmouth against Keynsham Town, a 6-1 victory for Portsmouth. Unfortunately, no details on that game just yet. So we'll move to Plymouth Argyle against Oxford United. A nice 5-0 victory for Oxford United. A hat-trick for Beth Lumsden in the 6th, 50th and 72nd minute. And then 2 goals for Carly Johns in the 15th and 81st minute. Beth Lumsden there with 5 on the season, 5 in 5 games, and Carly Johnson with 3 in 5 games for Oxford United. Southern Premier Division table then, up at the top, Southampton FC with a 100% record, as have Ipswich Town, but Southampton FC with 25 goal difference to their name. They scored 26, conceded only 1. Ipswich Town there with 15 goals between them, and even at this early stage you feel it may come down to the 2 games between those two sides as to who comes out on top in the Southern Premier Division. Oxford United in 3rd, just ahead of Portsmouth by a single goal, who are in 4th. Both those teams are on 10 points, so already 5 points behind the 2 leaders. Crawley Wasps snapping at their heels with 9 points from their 5 games. Bridgewater United on 8 points, but they do have a game in hand, so they could potentially jump up to 11 when they play on Thursday. London Bees on 7, Cardiff City on 6, Chichester and Chelsea on 4, Gillingham also on 4, Plymouth Argyle and Keynsham Town on 3 points, MK Dons with 1, and Hounslow at the bottom of the table, having yet to score a point this season. Into the Division 1 Midlands then, where it's Bedworth United 2, Doncaster Rovers Bells 3, Hollowell Sports 1, Leafield Athletic 1, Leek Town 1, Boldmere St Michael's 2, Lincoln City 2, Burton Albion 1, Solihull Moors 4, Sporting Cowser 4 in a cracking game there, and Peterborough United 2, Long Eaton United 2. Let's start then with Bedworth United against Doncaster Rovers Bells. 2 goals for Bedworth United, scored by Jodie Hunter in the 36th minute and Lydia Hackney in the 85th minute. Doncaster Rovers Bells haven't put their lineup up yet, so not sure who got their goals, but a win for Doncaster Rovers Bells. Hull Sports against Leafield Athletic. Goal for Hull Sports coming to Kaylee Almer. And then Holly Briggs in the 12th minute scoring the goal for Leafield Athletic. Leek Town against Boldmere St Michael's. It was Boldmere who had a 2-0 lead at half-time. Tanya Dickinson in the 24th minute and Stephanie Weston in the 38th minute. Stephanie Weston now with her 3rd of the season. But Leek Town got 1 back in the second half thanks to Naomi Sell Hancock getting her 1st of the season. But it wasn't enough, and Boldmere St Michael's go away with all 3 points. Lincoln City then beating Burton Albion by 2 goals to 1. Scorers in that one haven't been announced, but a 2-1 victory for Lincoln City keeps them up near the top of the table. And then the game of the day in the Division 1 Midlands, Solihull Moors 4, Sporting Cowser 4. Goals came very early on, actually. We'll start with Sporting Cowser as they took the lead. Lauren Walker in the 10th minute, followed up quickly by Megan Cann in the 15th minute. Gave Sporting Cowser a 2-0 lead inside the first quarter of an hour. Jessica Lundy got 1 back for Solihull Moors in the 30th minute, and then substitute Catherine Pagan, who came on the half-hour mark, scored in the 41st minute, so 2-2 at half-time. It was Solihull Moors who came out the gate after half-time quickest. Jessica Lundy in the 1st minute of the second half, getting her 2nd of the game, and Sigourney Gowlett in the 49th minute. So 2 quick-fire goals for Solihull Moors, put them 4-2 up. But not to be outdone, Chloe Handley for Sporting Cowser scored on the opening day of the season in the loss to Lincoln City. Goals in the 51st minute and 75th minute brought the game back to 4-4, and that is how it finished, with both sides sharing a point each. Peterborough United against Long Eaton United. Goals for Peterborough United coming to Keir Perkins in the 41st minute and Stacey McConville in the 88th minute. Late goal there for Peterborough United. Long Eaton United goals from Calla Thornton and Mariah McIntosh. What that does for the table then, Boldmere St Michael's at the top. 13 points from their 5 games. Lincoln City just a point behind them, and Long Eaton United just 2 points behind them. Doncaster Rovers Bells are in 4th place, but they do have a game in hand. They could climb up to 3rd unless it's a big win when they play their game in hand. Solihull Moors on 7 points, as are Leafield Athletic in the middle of the table. Leek Town 6 points. Peterborough United and Burton Albion both have 5. Holwell Sports with 4 points, Wemtown with 3, Sporting Calza with 1, and Bedworth United again at the bottom of the table, yet to register a point this season. Division 1 North then, there was one midweek game to talk about, which was Leeds United against Barnsley. Leeds United 5, Barnsley 0. 4 goals for Laura Bartup in the 25th, 33rd, 64th and 81st minute, and then complemented by Rebecca Hunt in the 85th minute, giving Leeds United a convincing 5-0 victory. We'll move into the weekend fixtures. Barnsley 1, Bradford City 1, Chester Street Town 2, Stockport County 2, FC United of Manchester 6, Alnwick Town 2, Leeds United 1, Liverpool Feds 0, and Newcastle United 1, Chorley 1. Start then with Barnsley against Bradford City. Goal for Barnsley coming to Courtney Xmore in the 50th minute. Goal for Bradford City, who went in at half-time 1-0 up. Goal scored by Katie Woodcock. In the Chester Street Town Stockport County game then, 2-2 draw there. We've got an 18th minute goal for Nicole Havery for Chester Street Town. That's the only goal recorded, so again, as we've done, it's an assumption of an own goal there from Stockport County. 2 goals from Stockport County, 1 for Olivia Dixon in the 33rd minute, and then the other one for Maria Figueiredo in the 55th minute. The 2 goal scorers for Stockport County there. Olivia Dixon, her 3rd of the season, Maria Figueiredo, her 2nd. FC United of Manchester against Alnwick Town then, a 6-2 victory for FC United of Manchester. No details on that game as of yet though. Moving to Leeds United then against Liverpool Feds. 2 teams that had a strong start to the season. They were both there or thereabout. Liverpool Feds had a 100% record going into this game. Leeds United had won 3 from 4. And it was a close game. It took a very late goal from Abby Brown in the 87th minute. Proved to be the only goal of the game, and Leeds United took the 1-0 victory. And then finally, before we look at the table, Newcastle United against Chorley. No information about Chorley yet, but goal for Newcastle United coming from Rachel Lee, her 1st of the season. Into the Division 1 North table then, and Leeds United at the top with 12 points. As I said, they're 4 wins from 5. Newcastle United lost their 100% record in that 1-1 draw with Chorley last weekend, but they are in 2nd place on 10 points and they've got a game in hand, so they could move back to the top of the table. Liverpool Feds in 3rd place with 9 points. FC United of Manchester in 4th on the same point total. Chorley in 5th with 8. Norton and Stockton Ancients and Durham Sestra both on 6 points in the middle of the table there. Chester Street Town on 5 points. Bradford City 4. Stockport County 2. And then Barnsley and Alnwick Town towards the bottom of the table with 1 point each. Division 1 South East. Actonians 8, Harlow Town 1, AFC Wimbledon 1, Norwich City 1, Billericay Town 7, Stevenage 1, Cambridge United 5, Kent Football United 2, Hashtag United 4, Enfield Town 0, and London Seaward 1, Cambridge City 4. Start then with the big result for Actonians, an 8-1 victory over Harlow Town. A hat-trick in this one as well for Alessandra Barreca in the 3rd minute, 51st minute and 55th minute. So her 2nd, 3rd and 4th goals of the season after scoring in the 3-1 loss against Hashtag United. Also goals for Miele de Santos in the 3rd minute of added time at the end of the 1st half. Rhiannon Ishmael in the 49th minute, and Maria Ledesma Vizzo in the 65th and 80th minute. She gets 3 goals in the last 2 games. 1 goal for Harlow Town, Becky Shepherd in the 33rd minute, but a big win for Actonians. AFC Wimbledon 1, Norwich City 1. A goal for for Hannah Billingham opened the scoring for AFC Wimbledon in the 32nd minute. They went 1-0 up at half time, but a 2nd half goal for Megan Todd gave Norwich City a point. Billericay Town against Stevenage. No lineup as of yet for Billericay Town, but Stevenage's goal came from Louise Godden. Cambridge United 5, Kent Football United 2. A couple of goals here, 2 for Ruth Fox and 3 for Emma Jenkins. Another hat-trick. Emma Jenkins now with 5 in the campaign. Ruth Fox with 3. Goals for Kent Football United coming from Megan Burrows in the 30th minute and Emma Squirrel in the 34th minute, her second of the season. But Cambridge United just too strong on Sunday afternoon, 5-2 the final score. Hashtag United have started the season well, and they continue to do so. They are unbeaten with now 4 wins and a draw. They haven't announced their lineup yet, so can't give you any of their scorers from that 4-0 victory, but 4 wins and a draw for Hashtag United. Finally then, London Seaward against Cambridge City. Goal for London Seaward, coming from Kate Kerr in the 37th minute. The 4 goals for Cambridge City coming from Erin Davis, Zinalet Deglin, Grace Stanley and Charlotte Gillis. Grace Stanley there with 5 goals in 5 games now. She's scored 1 in every single of Cambridge City's games. What that means then for the table is that Billericay Town are top on 13 points with a goal difference of 17, and it's goal difference that's keeping them ahead of Hashtag United. Actonians just 1 point behind on 12. Cambridge United and Cambridge City both tied on 9 points in 4th and 5th place respectively. London Seaward and AFC in Wimbledon 2 points back on 7. Queen's Park Rangers and Enfield Town 6 points and 5 points just underneath the halfway point of the table. Then there's a bit of a drop to Harlow Town and Norwich City on a point each. Kent Football United and Stevenage still yet to get themselves off the mark. Finally then, we're going to look at the Division 1 South West, where Buckland Athletic 2, Portishead 8, Cheltenham Town 3, Larkhall Athletic 0, Chesham United 2, Swindon Town 1, Maidenhead United 4, Poole Town 0, and Southampton Women 2, Exeter City 2. Look at the Buckland Athletic game to start with then. Just the 1 goal recorded, Alex Hugh in the 28th minute. But goals for Portishead from Rosie Hill in the 4th minute and the 35th minute. A hat-trick for Shannon Holloway, 8th minute, 41st minute and 83rd minute. Lulu Watts getting 2 goals in the 26th and the 80th minute, and then Emily Lindsay rounding off the scoring in the 1st minute of added time at the end of the second half, making it 8-2 to Portishead. Shannon Holloway getting 4 now for the season for Portishead. Cheltenham Town 3, Larkhall Athletic 0. Goals for Cheltenham Town. There's a big delay in the first half. The 10th minute of added time at the end of the first half. Lois Colley scoring there to open the scoring and put Cheltenham in front 1-0 at half time. Amy Woven in the 49th minute getting her 3rd goal of the season, and Lacey J. Leggett in the 53rd minute also getting her 3rd goal of the season. Chesham United against Swindon Town then, a 2-1 victory for Chesham United. Goals coming from that one. 2 goals in the space of a minute, 1 for either side in the first half. Gemma Fraser for Chesham United and Annabelle Colston for Swindon Town, both in the 37th minute. And it looked like it was going to do that all the way to the end of the game. But Kate Bowers, who scored a hat-trick on the opening day of the season, pops up in the 89th minute to score for Chesham United and give them all 3 points. Maidenhead United against Poole Town, a 4-0 victory for Maidenhead United, but they haven't announced their lineup yet. And then Southampton Women 2, Exeter City 2. Southampton haven't announced their lineup yet, so can't give you the scores from there. But Exeter City, 2 goals for Molly Taylor, and you feel this was rescuing them a point. 22nd minute, she scored in the first half. It was 2-1 at half time. Southampton not scoring in the second half at all. Both their goals coming in the first half. But then the 8th minute of added time at the end of the 90, Molly Taylor pops up again and scores the 2nd goal for Exeter City and rescues them a point. So that's her 3rd goal of the season, rescuing Exeter a point there right at the end of the game. In the Division 1 South West, Let's look at the Southwest table then. Cheshire United top with 10 points from their 4 games. Cheltenham Town also on 10 points, but they are 1 goal behind. AFC Bournemouth, Portishead and Southampton women all have 8. Maidenhead United are on 7 in the midpoint of the table. Exeter City, 5 points from their 4 games. Then we've got Swindon Town, Larkhall Athletic and Buckland Athletic all on 3. And Poole Town at the bottom of the table, not yet scoring a point this season. That then will do it for all of the results from the last 7 days of the 3rd and 4th tiers of the FA Women's National League. Now let's look ahead to what's happening in the next 7 days. And excitingly, it is the determining round of the FA Women's National League Cup. But before we get to that, we've got one fixture to talk about in the league, and that is in the Southern Premier Division on Thursday night. Cardiff City taking on Bridgwater United. So both teams looking to use this game in hand to make inroads up the table. Bridgwater United in particular, they're looking to get even closer to the top. So let's have a look then at the Cup. This is the determining round of the FA Women's National League Cup. These are all taking place on Sunday. Now, for anyone who's unfamiliar with this, this is the winner of these fixtures will go into the League Cup knockout round, and the losers will go into the League Plate. So no matter what happens in this fixture, you will have some kind of knockout tournament to aim for, which I think is really nice and a good initiative from the league there. So what I'll do is I'll run through all of the fixtures. There's about 5 screens of these because all 77 teams are taking part in this. So we'll start then. AFC Wimbledon, these are in alphabetical order by the home team. AFC Wimbledon against Oxford United. Alnwick Town take on Chorley. Barnsley against Sporting Cowser. Bedworth United against Burton Albion. Bridgwater United against Maidenhead United. Brighouse Town versus Howell Sports. Cambridge City face Buckland Athletic. And Cambridge United take on Portishead. Cardiff City versus Actonians. Cheltenham Town against Southampton FC. Cheshire United versus Kent Football United. Chester Street Town at Leafield Athletic. Crawley Wasps take on London Seaward. Derby County will face Lincoln City. Durham Sestra against Stockport County. Enfield Town against Queen's Park Rangers. Exeter City face Plymouth Argyle. FC United of Manchester against AFC Fylde. Gillingham take on Norwich City. Harlow Town face Billericay Town. United take on Stevenage. Hounslow face AFC Bournemouth. Huddersfield Town against Boldmere St Michael's. And Hull City against Burnley. Ipswich Town versus the London Bees. Liverpool Feds take on Nottingham Forest. Long Eaton United against Peterborough United. Loughborough Lightning versus Doncaster Bells. Milton Keynes Dons against Keynsham Town. Newcastle United versus Leek Town. Norton and Stockton Ancients against Wem Town. And Poole Town against Swindon Town. And then finally, Portsmouth against Chichester and Chelsea. Sheffield FC take on Bradford. Southampton Women face Larkhall Athletic. Stoke City against Solihull Moors. West Bromwich Albion against Middlesbrough. And Wolverhampton Wanderers against Leeds United. As ties, as I said, all to be played on Sunday. And because this is a one and done fixture, extra time and penalties if necessary. So all very exciting. But yeah, so that is all of the fixtures coming up in the next 7 days for the FA Women's National League as well. So we take a bit of a break now from the league, apart from that game between Cardiff and Bridgwater United. And then we'll focus on the Cup. All eyes on the Cup, as is the title of this week's episode. So it'll be interesting to see how many games go to extra time penalties. Are there going to be any upsets from fourth tier teams beating third tier teams? And then, of course, next week when we review all of those fixtures, we'll know who is in the Cup and who is in the Plate. But that will do it for this week's episode of the FA Women's National League show. Thank you once again for your support. I have got some guests that are due to come on shortly. So we'll hopefully have something a bit more interesting for you over the next few weeks. But yeah, plenty to talk about with regards to the Cup in the next few days. That will do it for this week's episode of the FA Women's National League show. Thank you very much for watching. If you could like and share and let people, as many people know about this show as possible, that would be very much appreciated. But enjoy your Cup football this Sunday. We're back same time next week, Tuesday, 6 p.m. for the FA Women's National League show. Goodbye.